in my head, I was thinking, I hate thinking about finances. I don't like thinking about it. And then I said to myself, you know what? That means I really need to go to this. So I went. And it turned out that it was a wonderful workshop about changing your mindset about money. And on top of that, when I told Joel this story, when we spoke afterwards, he was like, Chef, he was like, stop. He's like, you have to stop telling this, you have to stop saying that. You can't say, I hate finances. So now every single time I say something like that, I'm like, no, Joel's saying don't say that. So without any further ado, Joel Solomon, Chief Prosperity Officer and author of the best-selling book, The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, Only the Unconventional Ones, and Mindful Money Management, Memoirs of a Hedge Fund Manager.
Raise your hand if you would like to have less money. Raise your hand if you would like to have more money. And raise your hand if you would like to know some of the 9 money rules millionaires use. My name is Joel Solomon, and I am a prosperity coach. I help people become financially free, so they don't have to work if they don't want to. And my mission is to help at least 100,000 people become financially free. And I want you to be one of them. So today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about those 5 money rules of the 9. So write this acronym down. Big, hairy goals.
Here.
B stands for beliefs. I stands for intuition. G stands for that financial advisor named Goldstein. Just kidding. G stands for Godiva. No, G stands for giving. That's the first G.
Could you say that again? I'm sorry.
B stands for beliefs. I stands for intuition. G stands for good looking. Giving. H stands for be happy. And the second G stands for gratitude. So do you believe that you can be rich and successful? Do you believe that you have to work hard to be rich and successful?
Yes.
Do you believe that rich people are criminals? Let me tell you a story. 2 guys buy Bitcoin. Anybody know Bitcoin? Cryptocurrency?
I read the book.
2 guys buy Bitcoin on November 27, 2017. First guy has done his research. He's read all the white papers. He knows he's going to make money. If you ask him on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is massive doubt and 10 is absolute faith that he's going to make money, he's a 10. Second guy, he's got a tip from a buddy of his. He says, dude, get involved. It's up 8 times this year. It's going higher. He says, oh, I don't know. It seems speculative. It seems risky. Okay, I'll do it. He's a 1. So they both buy Bitcoin at $8,000. And a few days later, it's at $10,000. And the first guy says, see, I told you I was going to make money on Bitcoin. And the second guy, I hope it doesn't go back down. And a few days later, it's back down at $8,000. And the first guy says, this is the best buying opportunity out there. And he buys more. The second guy, he sells. He is so grateful he didn't lose money on Bitcoin. 3 weeks later, Bitcoin's at its all-time high, $19,500. And the first guy's made almost 250% on his money in less than 1 month. And he sells. So I tell my clients to write down their level of belief from 1 to 10 in each investment they currently own and each potential investment. And if you're not a 7, 8, 9, or 10, don't invest. So what does B stand for?
Beliefs.
That's our smart audience. And I stands for intuition. And I will tell you as a former hedge fund manager, managing $700 million at Citigroup, that if I didn't trust my intuition, I either made less money or I lost money. People will say, Joel, how do I develop my intuition? Well, it's just like any other muscle. I go to the gym, I want to get my biceps stronger, I do curls. Exercise your intuition every chance you get. You're in Manhattan, you're on the subway platform. The local train's sitting there, but the express is coming in 2 minutes. What do? Local, express, what do? Trust your intuition. Let me tell you a story. Every Thursday morning I have my daughters and I take them to school. And we have options. We could take the highway, we could take the local roads, we could hitchhike.
Use your brain.
Now normally my intuition is telling me to take the highway, but one particular morning, the highway is all backed up with traffic. But my intuition is still telling me to take the highway. But what do? Trust my intellect. And I take the local roads. And immediately my stomach's in knots. I hear the sirens, I see the flashing lights. And because I didn't trust my intuition, it cost me a $150 speeding ticket. And to this day, my daughters tease me and they call me Speedy Pants. Let me give you an investment example related to intuition. It's 2008. I'm working at Citigroup. Some may remember 2008. It wasn't the best year in the stock market. It was down 40%, I think. Financial stocks, the only stocks I was managing, were down 57. We managed to make a small amount of money. But it's early 2008. We've done our research and we short AIG. We bet it's going to go down. Insurance company, you may have heard of it.
Yeah.
Large, American International Group. We had no idea how bad things were, but we did know it was overvalued. So we bet it's going to go down. And a couple of months later, my analyst comes to me and says, Joel, they're raising capital, it's going back up. Now my intellect agreed with him, but my intuition was telling me, don't touch it. 2 days later, AIG's down 10%. That's 30 times your money annualized. And my intuition is still screaming at me, it's going lower. So we get back in. And 4 months later, because I trusted my intuition, we made over 60% on our money for our investors. So I stand for intuition. And develop it every chance you get. In fact, when I'm with my daughters on vacation, we're in the hotel and there's like 4 or 6 elevators there. I'm like, which one's coming first? Use your intuition. And G? What does G stand for?
Giving.
Good looking. Right. First G is giving. Giving creates karma. Sir John Templeton. Anybody ever hear of him? Some say the best investor of all time. He started Templeton Funds, Templeton Mutual Funds, with just a few $1,000s. He sold it to Franklin Funds for almost $1 billion in the 1990s. He said he hadn't met anybody who hadn't given at least 10% of his earnings each year over a 10-year period to charities, who didn't have massively more wealth at the end of the 10 years than at the beginning. I know what you're thinking, Joel. If I give my money away, I have less money. How does that work? Let me explain. Money is just energy. And when you put it out into the world, it must come back to you. In fact, in my life, I've found that when I put money out, it comes back 10 or 100 times. And when you give, you're creating a mindset that you have plenty to spare and share. I haven't been naming the numbers in the 9 money rules, but giving is number 6 of the 9 money rules. When you believe, beliefs, number 1, intuition, number 2. But giving doesn't have to just be about money, right? You may have a special talent or gift. Why not share that with the world? Maybe share a smile with a stranger or compliment a stranger. You could even give an extra contribution to Mercy College. Giving does indeed change the world. What I'm going to do right now is practice what I preach. So everybody get out their phones, and I'm going to give you something for free. So instead of a phone number, you're going to text to the number 66866. Top, instead of a phone number, click 66866. And the title of my book is 9 Money Rules, but not the number 9. Use the word 9, all one word, 9 Money Rules. So that's what you're texting to, the number 66866.
Okay. So text to 66866.
You got it?
Now in the subject, or not subject, but in the text, we're gonna type
In the box, the word
9.
9 Money Rules, all one word.
Okay.
Okay? And you hit enter, it's gonna ask for your email, you put in your email, and you will get a white paper that I wrote called The 5 Mistakes New Millionaires Make. Didn't talk about acting as if, but if you're not a millionaire yet, you wanna act as if you're a millionaire and figure out what those mistakes are before you become a millionaire so you don't make them when you are a millionaire.
Thank you.
The keyword is not recognized.
9 Money Rules, all one word.
All one word together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Word.
mine worked out.
It worked.
Yeah.
Cool.
Six,
So read the white paper, change your life.
I know, I was a problem.
Thank you.
I was impressed.
Okay, so we're up to H. H is rule number 3, be happy. So let me tell you a story. July 1st, 2015, I'm on the Metro North train going into Manhattan to my hedge fund headquarters on 54th and 6th. 7:30 in the morning. We're at the Harlem 125th Street station, and I'm checking my phone, as I did every morning for the daily news, and I see some terrible news, at least for my fund. A company that we were betting was going to go down was about to get acquired. It was announced that it was getting acquired by another insurance company, and it was going to go up 30% that day. I was literally in tears. I was sick to my stomach, in pain, because I knew this was going to be the worst day of my career, and I was going to be losing a significant amount of money for my investors. So what did I do? I could have just felt that pain all day, all week, all month, and by the way, as I was managing these large amounts of money, whenever I lost money, I felt really sad. And whenever I made money, I was happy. Now, the best investors in the world make money 55 or 60% of the time. I'm not the best investor in the world. Maybe it's half the time. So imagine living your life where every other day you're sad. What a terrible way to live your life. That's called conditional happiness. And in my book, I talk about unconditional happiness. So what happy habits can you create unconditionally so that you're happy? And imagine if you could be happy 24/7. What an amazing life that would be. So it's 7:30 in the morning, I'm on the train, and I put on a song. I put on a song called Ooh Child by the 5 Stair Steps. Ooh, things are gonna get easier. Ooh child, things are gonna get brighter someday. And I listened to that on my walk to 54th and 6th from Grand Central. And I took the song off my headphones as I walked into my office so my colleagues could hear, because they knew how bad things were going to be that day. And I started thinking what other things I can do besides listening to uplifting songs to make me feel happy. So what could you do to make yourself feel happy? Maybe meditate. Maybe think about things you want to have happen in your life. I play games with my kids who are now 13 and 15. Play ping pong, go for a jog, maybe play with your dog or cat. Write down some happy habits. So I did that starting July 1st, 2015. That day, the next day, started creating some unconditional happiness in my life. And things didn't get quite better for my hedge fund for many days, but I was feeling okay. I wasn't sad every day as we were losing money. And a funny thing happened. In August of 2015, just the next month, the stock market went down 6.8%. My fund was up over 3%. And the next month, the market was down again, we were up again. And I truly believe that by creating these happy habits, this unconditional happiness, that our fund started doing better. Because I wasn't watching the stock market and saying, okay, well, if the fund does poorly, I'm sad. If the fund does well, I'm happy. So maybe write down some happy habits that you can do in your life that can create happiness unconditionally for yourself. And it will, by the way, create more abundance in your life, because if you're feeling good and happy 24/7, or even a little bit more than you were in the past, the law of attraction says more and more happiness will come into your life. Let me give you the last G, which is gratitude, which is rule number 5 in the 9 money rules. It's 105 degrees. It hasn't gone down since you left. Did you give her the baby Tylenol? Did you give her the cold compresses? Yes, we did, and it still hasn't gone down. Okay, we're going to come right home. This was the conversation I had with my mom in November 2006 when Morgan was not yet 9 months old. We were on the Upper East Side, my wife at the time and I, celebrating her birthday. My youngest daughter was with my parents, and we rushed home, full of fear, scared, worried. I tell my clients now, worry is negative future planning. You're thinking about what you don't want to happen, so why not think about what you do want to happen? But I didn't know that back then, 14 years ago. So we were full of fear and worry. Got home, Morgan was clearly very pale, not herself. Gave her more baby Tylenol. Actually gave her a cold bath. Temperature did go down. We called the pediatrician. The pediatrician says, if the temperature doesn't go down further, you need to go to the hospital. Well, the next morning it did go down, but on Monday morning we go to the pediatrician, who took one look at her, knew her history, and said, get to the hospital. So we did, and the surgeon, having heard all the information, agreed that Morgan needed surgery. Imagine having a child 9 months old, being completely out of control. Actually, they hooked her up to the IV tubes and the wires, and I remember them as we're holding her and all, they told us, we got to get out of the room. We couldn't actually stay in the operating room, which didn't make me feel too good. Actually, started tears at that point. And I remember the operation didn't take that long, but we weren't really prepared when Morgan came out still with all those wires and the IV tubes still attached to her. And the crying began again. And shortly thereafter, they took out the IV tube and her color started returning to her face, and probably a few hours later, she was happy again. So why do I tell this story? I tell this story because I am so grateful to have a really caring, thoughtful, intelligent, and most important, courageous daughter, Morgan, who's now about to turn 14 in a couple weeks. Gratitude is a really important attitude to have. And I tell my clients to write down 5 things you're grateful for every morning, 5 things you're grateful for at night, because it really does change how you look at life. And there was a study done by Professor Martin Seligman, who actually hooked wires up to synapses in the brain and had people write down every day for 30 days 3 things they're grateful for and why. And at the end of the 30 days, check those synapses, which had actually expanded. So your brain elasticity expands in those areas that create happiness, rule number 3, when you're writing down things you're grateful for and why. So start today. I started in 2012. So those are 5 of the 9 money rules: beliefs, intuition, giving, happiness, and gratitude. If anyone wants to know the other rules, I'm here to talk about them as well. Thank you for your time.